Hey, I'm Janice Smith, and I teach the 3-year-old class at Enterprise. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I do my documentation. First of all, I know everybody knows about the report card, and we're looking at all these things on the report card and documenting how the children are doing and when we see these things happening. But I also want you to remember that it's important, this report card doesn't cover all your standards. Your standards are in this book, but also I made one, I should say, my partner in crime a few years ago, Michelle Gaynor, put this together. So it's an easy flip page with all of our 3-year-old standards. So when I'm making my lesson plans, I'm looking at RTA, and one of the things I like to do is use this. And this was the scope. So this tells you each week all the things that you're going to be looking at. And right away, I can look through here and see what's not appropriate for a 3-year-old. So when I'm doing my lesson planning, I know to leave that part out. They'll take care of that when they get to VPK. So as you can see, this is highlighted. So as I finish my week, I go through and say, yes, we covered that. Yes, we covered that. Yes, we covered that. Just because it's in your lesson plan, you know as well as I do, you don't always get to it. So I highlight what I didn't do. So when you're in week 4, you can come back to this and say, okay, didn't do this, didn't do this, didn't do this. And if it wasn't appropriate, just X through it. So that'll help you with your week 4 plans. Also, a document that they sent us for 4-year-olds, but I edited for 3-year-olds. This is just one page. It is showing the correlation of the RTA units and the lessons within the unit to our standards. This is a good thing to have in case anyone ever asks, well, you're doing this lesson in RTA, where is it in your standards? So this covers the domains and the standards as well. So now on a daily basis or a weekly basis, depending what we're looking at, I have this form that I use. And I will say I got this through Pre-Kinders and it's free. So I can quickly, if we're doing an activity and we're doing something with letters, I can quickly mark off what they know. Now I use this more than once. What I tend to do is I may take a purple colored pencil and I'll put January 18th. So in purple, I mark what they know, because maybe on February 18th or January 27th, they either don't know that letter or they do know that letter, so it's in a different color. So each child has one of these. The other thing I put together, and I'm pretty sure Michelle will give it out or your coach will give it out at training, but I also have it if you want it, is a form. So I have my students broken up by table. This one happens to be blank. I put the title of the activity, and here I put the objectives. So I can go down and say, here's the one I did today. We were doing patterning, copying 6. Can the student name the next item in the pattern? Can they copy the pattern? Did they persist in the task? Can they count those blocks when they're done? Were they able to name the shapes that we did the pattern with? So the checks mean yes, the blank means no. And for this activity, I did my table. So if my other groups were evaluating that day, I give them each a form and they do their table. Or I might keep this and tomorrow I'll move to another table. We'll just trade and I'll evaluate those guys. So you don't have to evaluate the whole class, even though it's the same activity on the same day. The blank one I keep around because sometimes you're doing something and you know you're covering objectives, but you didn't think about typing it in. So this is an easy way to write it in. I also keep, and I'm sure a lot of you do this, I keep this in, I have an apron that everybody at the school teases me about. I wear an apron every single day. I have all different ones, all different superheroes. So I might be out on the playground and I see a social emotional event going on with some of the kids, whether it be positive that they're doing things or that they're not covering the objective. I'll just jot it down here, the date, who was involved, and what I saw. And then that way I use this later on to make documentation for the kids. Now these, I do not keep a notebook for each individual child. What I'll do with this is I wrote math at the top. So I'll put this activity in a folder marked math for spring. And then when I start doing report cards, I can pull out math, take a look through everything, and then I can start marking my report cards. And again, every single thing you do is not necessarily documented on paper. You know if Johnny's coming to the circle every day or not. You know if Johnny's able to persist in a task. That's in your head. So it's really important that you either rotate with your teachers at the different tables, or what I like to do, I'm always at this table because I like to see the door. But this week, I'll blend in 2 kids from that table and give 2 of my kids to the other table. So the kids in my class are always rotating, so I get to work with each child. The other way you can do that is just by pulling kids at centers. So you really need to make sure that you're getting to interact with each child and not just remaining at your table. If you would like a copy of the form or anything, just let your coach know or email me and I will be happy to share. I hope everybody has a good day.